Okay, so quick video while I'm at work here. What was I going to say? Okay. I lost another couple friends this week and one just today. And it was obviously after my last Facebook Live earlier today, or maybe that whole piece I wrote about women's makeup and all that stuff. Again, I'm not saying anything that goes against the Bible. So whoever unfriended me, okay, you're clearly not a Christian if you're unfriending me, whether Christian, Catholic, or a Protestant, because if you're unfriending me based on what you're seeing me say or post, you should be standing in agreement with me and with the Word of God and not against me. So you're no Christian, so you can go and don't let the door hit you in the backside on the way out if that's the case. And if you're a non-Christian, atheist, pagan, worldly, secular person, which is probably most likely who unfriended me, those are the types of people who unfriend me, well, you can definitely let the door hit you in the back on the way out. Give you a little added oomph out of my life, because obviously, again, you're no friend of mine, and you're not a friend of Christ either. And anyone who's not a friend of Christ probably shouldn't be a friend of mine. But if you're a friend of Jesus, you're a friend of mine. And so, no loss, I guess, but what bothers me is I can't always figure out who's leaving. All I can say is if you're unfriending me, and I gotta go through great lengths to try to figure out who's missing from my page, you obviously weren't very significant in my life, because I would notice. I know my top friends. I know people who talk to me on here all the time. I know people who come and see me in my daily life versus most of the people on Facebook who don't. So, like I said, if you keep unfriending me, then you obviously don't agree with me on a lot of things. Maybe I've offended you, but you know what I think is really stupid and cowardice? When somebody can unfriend you without telling you why first, or at least trying to rectify the situation. Like if you cared about me and our friendship, or if you claim to be a Christian, you would comment and reach out to me and say, "Hey, brother," or "Hey, Steve, I feel like I need to unfriend you," or "This offends me," or whatever. We could talk about it. But you just unfriend as soon as I say something that's politically incorrect or that you don't agree with or like. I mean, how are we even friends? Why are you on my Facebook in the first place? I mean, we obviously have nothing in common. Anybody who knows me now, and some of you are on my page from 2010 when I was in the world, but I have given my life to Christ, so anybody who knows me now knows what I'm all about and why I do this, and I have to. There's no going back. Once you start walking with Jesus and you promise him your life, you don't just renege on that and go back into the world, because you'd be going back into living a lie. I mean, why would you do that? That would be stupid. That's suicide. You come out of the world if you're blessed enough to be called by Christ and to have the brains to follow him, and why would you want to go back? That's like a pig going back to its trough, or a dog going back to its vomit. So the point is to progress in Christ, not digress and go backsliding into sin. But anyway, when people unfriend me, it's always usually because I've said something that either some truth, and that truth either strikes a chord with them personally, maybe it hurts them because the truth hurts, and they're guilty of something, and so they unfriend me because they don't like me anymore because I called them out on their sin. Or maybe and I never usually call anybody's name out or make a video specifically about anybody. It's always a general thing. For myself first, I gotta follow the same rules I preach. So, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Sorry, but not sorry. Is that what you guys say out there in the world? Sorry, not sorry? When I make a video and I'm preaching not only my personal opinion, because I don't do that, I preach reality. I'm a very black and white person. I cannot stand gray areas. I'm very legalistic to a fault sometimes, and I just want the whole truth and nothing but the truth, just the facts. I can't stand skewed, twisted opinions or scripture or, maybes. No, I want to just know. I don't have time. Life's too short. I want to know. Don't talk unless you know what you're talking about. Don't just put things out there. That's why God said not to gossip, no idle talk, because wasted words is stupid. Just talk when necessary, and stuff that's important for reproving, building up, edifying, rebuking, tearing down falsities and evil, building up the kingdom of God. Truth, okay? Not opinions, not slander, not gossip, not evil, but truth. And so I'm not sorry if you people get offended, because it's not me that's offending you. It's the truth. It's reality. You don't like it. It's the word of God, maybe. And you don't want to believe it. You don't like it. Not my problem. Not my problem, because I have to try to strive every day to live according to the same truths and commandments that I'm preaching about. Okay? And that whole piece I just wrote about women and Facebook filters and makeup, why would you unfriend me and get upset unless you are guilty of that? And even if you are, why unfriend me? Why get offended? If you actually took the time to read what I wrote, it's actually in your favor, women, because I'm trying to tell you that you were created by God beautiful in your natural form, and that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that if we stop all this sexy clothing and filters and makeup, you will find a guy who's right for you and meant for you biologically, because there'll be true biological attraction and true chemistry. There's reasons. I mean, we are humans, but we're also kind of animalistic in nature. We are like apes in some ways, where just like animals and every other living organism down here, and here I got to get into a science discussion now, but I am good at science and I know a lot about science. I know a lot about a lot of stuff, actually. But anyway, and not to sound arrogant, I've studied a lot of stuff. Sorry, my nose is so itchy tonight. The problem with makeup, okay, and deodorants even, but I prefer deodorant. You don't want to smell me without deodorant, trust me. We're not Neanderthals. But the problem with perfumes, deodorants, and makeup, humans are animals in a sense, and we are genetically made to search out the right mate for us. Did you ever wonder why they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder? Why some people are so sexually or physically attracted to people who look a certain way based on their face, right? The shape of someone's face actually tells the brain a lot about a person. And I'm not talking about beauty standards here, but I'm talking about natural scientific evidence here that shows that people are attracted to certain people for a reason, whether it's face value first, because you always judge someone by their face, then chemical attraction. Sometimes you can see someone who's really gorgeous, right? And you might be attracted to them outwardly, but you're not physically or sexually attracted to them. You don't know why. Because of chemistry. Sometimes chemistry is a smell, okay, based on pheromones. Everybody's smell is as unique and different as a fingerprint. And so your face is different. People may look similar, but no one is exactly alike. There's a reason. But there are people out there that are naturally and biologically created for you, who would be a real good match for you if you did things naturally, God's way. They would like your scent. Literally, that would attract them. Your pheromones would attract them. Your face would attract them. Your body, whether fat or skinny, good looking or not, it would attract them. So the problem with makeup and clothing and fashion industry, which is of the devil, it's vanity, is that we are so busy trying to be someone we're not and covering ourselves up that we're not attracting our proper mate, someone that would actually be chemically attractive to us, physically, whose DNA meshes well with ours so that we could have good, healthy kids. You're covering all that up with perfumes, colognes, deodorants, and makeup. Now, I'm not saying don't wear deodorant, because I personally stink without it, so I don't want it. But the point is, before we created all that stuff, and all oils and essential oils and stuff to cover up our musk, animals in the animal kingdom, and so did humans, would be attracted to people not just by facial beauty, but by pheromones, by chemical smells. There's a lot more to chemistry. and romance and sexual attraction, physical attraction, then meets the eye. But people are so busy trying to be someone they're not. Oh, this girl wants to look like Kim Kardashian. Another one wants to look like Jennifer Aniston or Madonna, or whatever. And this guy wants to look like Channing Tatum or Ben Affleck or whatever, whoever the hottest Hollywood stud is now. And the problem with that is we're not being ourselves. We're not loving ourselves as individuals. God created us all different for a reason. And beauty's in the eye of the beholder. There are women I might find attractive. Some other guys might say, no, that's ugly, or I'm not attracted, or that's plain, or whatever. Okay. I doubt it, though, because I think my beauty standards are pretty... I'll tell you, and I don't want people judging me and saying, oh, I'm a typical guy, or I'm a jerk for saying this, but let me just explain. And I have a right, because it's not my fault what I'm attracted to. I don't know why I'm attracted to this, but that is my right, and that is nothing I can do about it, okay? I am not attracted to Bette Midler or Kathy Najimy or fat people or plain-looking people. I'm attracted to Sandra Bullock, okay? Sometimes, depending on how she looks, what's her name? Nicole Kidman. Kathy Ireland, when I was growing up, wow, I had her all over my bedroom. She was what I thought was the epitome of beauty. I like people with sharp looks and features. Salma Hayek. I'd have to say the most plain would be someone like Bella from Twilight, which she's not plain at all. Perfection in my eyes would be the redhead singer from that movie, The Greatest Showman, okay? I'm just saying, these women, I have high standards for what I find beautiful. Now, you gotta understand, though, these people I only see with makeup on. I don't know what Jennifer Aniston or any of those other people would look like without the Hollywood makeup. These models and stuff. So it's a ridiculous standard. Excuse me for 1 minute. Hold on. Donald Trump again. Guest request, no. Sure, whatever. Anyway, sorry about that. Hold on. Sorry about that. Phone rang. It's these telemarketers who got to call all the hours of the night, and that one was for Donald Trump. Anyway, the point is, I can't help what I am attracted to. And it's hard for me to find girls that I'm physically attracted to unless they look a certain way. That's just me. I've had a lot of wonderful girls who probably make best friends and best beautiful wives or awesome wives or whatever, but I'm just not sexually or physically attracted to them. I might think they're pretty or beautiful, but then there's people who are almost too good looking, with or without makeup, and they're gorgeous, but there's something missing. I'm still not attracted to them. I mean, I'm not saying you can't have sex with somebody if you want to be immoral, but I'm just saying, I don't have a problem in that area, but the point is, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take a lot of beauty to be able to sleep with somebody. The point is, I don't sleep around, and I don't date until I find the right one. And there's been girls in my life who really liked me or attracted to me for whatever reason, and I just didn't feel anything. And some of them were really, really exceptionally gorgeous. And some guys would be like, what's wrong with you? What, are you gay? There's something wrong with you? No, I'm trying to do it right. I'm not just going to sleep with them because they're good looking or date them because they're good looking. And they were not a good match for me psychologically, physically, spiritually especially, or there was no chemical attraction. Something was missing. Now, maybe because they're wearing all this perfume, I can't smell them. Maybe they're wearing deodorant. I don't know, but there's just... My body knows... I hate to say this and try to be in a Christian conversation, but we're all adults here. So my body knows who I'm attracted to and who... My body knows if the sex is going to be awesome or not. It just kind of knows. Like, I can smell it. I can sense it. When someone has the full package that I'm looking for, that anybody's looking for to date or marry, the chemistry is right, the romance is there, you have you're like-minded, you're good friends, you're spiritually like-minded, you're evenly yoked, and on a scientific biological level, your bodies want each other. Your bodies are chemically attracted, physically attracted. So like I said, there's a lot of psychology and science behind beauty and behind human attraction. And you could be attracted to multiple people, but the point is, we're not a bunch of polygamists or animals here. We are humans, and we're supposed to be Christians, and so you pick one, hopefully the right one, and that is it. You mate for life. Now, even birds and ducks, some birds and ducks mate for life. A lot of animals actually, and you'd be surprised, mate for life. Some of them will only mate again with another once their male mate or female mate dies. Some of them will only mate once for life, and then once their partner dies, they will stay single, even in the animal kingdom, for the rest of their life. Even animals know how to be true to each other and committed. So what's wrong with humans? Okay? So anyway, you can't get mad at somebody if they're not physically attracted to you. And you can't hold it, and nobody can help with who they're attracted to or what they find, who they find attractive. Some people find me very attractive. Some people find me plain or normal or average or ugly. When I was younger and at my peak and I was doing like Abercrombie modeling, yeah, I was and I didn't know this myself until years later. I didn't believe it myself, but people were like, wow, kid, you were like too good looking to approach. That's why I never approached you. I'm like, what? That's craziness. It never stopped me. If I found someone attractive, I would go right for them unless I saw a ring on their hand, you know? But apparently, sometimes people don't approach you because they think you're too good looking and out of their league, which is kind of stupid because you don't know what I'm attracted to. And it's not all about beauty. Like I said, there's a bunch of layers involved here. It's not just face value, superficial stuff. You also got to be chemically attracted, romantically attracted, mentally attracted, spiritually attracted. I mean, this is how to have a good, lasting relationship. If you just want to have sex and use each other for your beautiful bodies, that's immoral and hellbound, and that's what worldly people do. But as a real God-fearing and loving Christian, when you're seeking a mate, a partner, it's not enough that the two of you just have God in common. Okay, that you're both good Christians. No. You also have to have a physical attraction. And yes, beauty does fade, but if you want to have kids and have sex while you still can, that's kind of going to play a part. Okay? So don't lie to yourself. Don't settle. You also have to have a genetic or biological sensuary or chemical attraction, which means the smell of the person either repulses you in their raw form or attracts you. If it repulses you, that means genetically, I hate to tell you this, but scientifically, it's not good breeding. Like scientifically, your kids might come out messed up. The genetics are not right. It's not the right partner for you. Don't forget, we are an animal side. We're humans, but we also have animalistic features. We are created beings just like every other animal and monkey down here. But we're set apart. But we're still made the same way animals are. And so we're still going to have natural instincts and odors and attractions and all kinds of stuff. Alright, just for example, like how do animals find a good mate? Through scent of smell. They can smell healthy from unhealthy animals. So they won't mate with the unhealthy ones. They can sense it. They can smell it. They can smell illness. They can smell genetic defects, okay, that would not guarantee healthy offspring and survival of the fittest. Luckily, all humans don't operate just on that. They also, like sometimes males, birds, for example, the prettiest male bird shows genetic superiority and good genetics and good breeding, and so the females will flock to that male. He's probably going to be an alpha male and stronger than the other males, and that's the one who gets to breed the most, right? Or gets the mate first. But the mate also has to choose him, and it's a genetic thing. The smell has to be right, the pheromones, the chemical attraction, and then the physical attraction, okay? So this is normal in the animal world, in the animal kingdom, as well as in the human kingdom, okay? So what I'm saying is makeup can make people look like someone they're not. They can make a plain Jane or a plain person with different features look like a gorgeous, sharp-featured alpha female or alpha male. You know, like the people in those magazines do not look the same all the time in real life. Some of them are already good-looking, but they make them even more good-looking with filters and, you know, airbrushing and makeup and lighting and all that other stuff. It's not real. And so we're basing looks and attraction and who we want to marry or date and be seen in daylight with based on facades and unrealistic expectations. And so a lot of women will go and buy the clothing and makeup and use filters and stuff to make themselves look way better looking than they really are. But now a guy like me who doesn't, you know, who might be attracted to that face, but when I see the person without makeup and filters, I'm not attracted anymore because my genetics, my brain is wired to be attracted to a certain look, whether it's real or fake. My brain can't differentiate between that. Okay? So I might be attracted to you if you have a photo of you when you're 20 years old and airbrushed or have a filter or night makeup, right? But then when I meet you in real person, you don't look that way. It might be off. Like, we could be friends, whatever. You're a good person, but I might not be attracted anymore. It's not my fault. You sold me a false product. Okay, if I'm looking for a red Lamborghini, and then I go and you say, yeah, you have one on the lot, and I show up to the dealership, and you try to present me with a blue Ford Explorer. That's not what I came for. That's not what I thought I was buying or getting. You know, that's not what I was looking for. So you can't get upset with me. Why don't you want to buy this? That's not what I told you I wanted. That's not what I was looking for. You had a photo of a red Lamborghini, and that's what got my attention, and that's what I'm coming for, and now you're selling me a blue Ford. Has nothing to do, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to make people feel bad. And it's the same with guys. A lot of guys are using filters and makeup now. They're going to the gym, they're trying to be all buff and this and that, but their personalities are ugly. They're vain, narcissistic, shallow, ugly, mean, arrogant. And so it works the same way with women too. They might see face value as, oh, there's a good looking guy. And maybe they'll even make the mistake of dating him if he thinks she's good looking too, and maybe they'll have good sex maybe even, and maybe, you know, they just look good together. So, you know, that's what all it's about, looks and money, and he's got a job. Who cares how he treats me? As long as he is good looking when I'm out in public with him, and he's satisfied with me, and I can brag and show him off to everybody, or I can show off my bombshell girlfriend to everybody. But nobody's really being fooled, because at the end of the day, we all know that that girl's probably going to take up a ton of makeup and whatever, and she's 4 feet tall, not 4'10", not 5 feet with those stilettos on, and she's got fake things everywhere to make her look more voluptuous, and she's got makeup on and all that stuff, but she's probably just an average, ordinary, plain Jane by the time she's done at night. And so, if you got to show someone off just because they're fake, what kind of guy are you? And that's stupid. And then the problem with that is the guy might like that fake version of his girlfriend, and then he's not really going to respect her or love her or treat her right when she's not doing all that. And that's not fair to make some girl have to do that all the time, you know, and show her off just so you can have some hot Horus looking chick. It's sick, okay? So as a Christian, the more I walk with Jesus, the more I realize what's wrong with society and why people are having trouble finding good partners or marriages, and why things end in divorce. And think about how far off course society has gotten, not only from God's word and way, but from natural ways. Okay? Don't forget, all of nature has its delicate balance and is set in motion a certain way for a reason. And when you try to play God and change that, you're throwing everything into chaos. I mean, and I don't care if man finds a way for men to have babies tomorrow. It's still never going to be natural. God's never going to be okay with it, and you're playing God by trying to do that, and it's not natural. Nature cannot procreate that way. It's just that's just the truth. So somebody like me gets shunned and hated for reminding people that, hello, back to reality here. We're getting off course here. Like, all of a sudden, everything on TV and in reality is fake. Makeup, clothing, lies on the media, lies in music, entertainment industry, TV, everything's fake and fiction and done up, and there's no reality in anything anymore. And we all start forgetting that we're not living in reality, and we actually believe the facade. We believe more about what we're seeing in movies and hearing in music and whatever the news media tells us and whatever we see in magazines and on Facebook now with these filters and all this stuff. It's like nothing's real anymore. And it's like we're losing simplicity and we're losing out on what it means to be simple humans. And we're missing out on a lot. And we're drawing far off course from God and from nature. And that's why the world's all messed up. Everything is fabricated and prefabbed and messed. It's nothing natural anymore. Your food is not even natural. Everything's genetically modified. That's what that means, GMO, genetically modified. So you're not even eating stuff that your natural body can consume. You're eating plastics and soy products and stuff that's grown in a lab that was created not by God or not by the world, but by mutations in a lab. Corn grown in a lab that's not real. It's not real. It's artificial intelligence created. So you wonder why you're getting cancer. You wonder why you're getting sick and aging faster and all these problems. Your body it's supposed to be feeding off of the earth, the land. There are natural nutrients and vitamins and stuff from the sun, which they tell you to stay out of. And the earth and the ground and the water, it's also contaminated now that we have to eat artificially, genetically modified garbage in order to be safe. But there's no nutritional value anymore, so your body suffers. Your soul suffers. You're not happy. You're fake. You are what you eat. And that's all part of this New World Order's agenda of AI, artificial intelligence, living forever, being a fake somebody. By eating GMO stuff, your body is slowly but surely becoming converted into a fake human being. Literally. Your DNA is being altered through vaccines and genetically modified materials. And it's not the way God created it to be, and it's not natural. And it's causing all kinds of problems, and health problems, and mental problems, and psychoses, and, your body is not even the way it would have been had you never eaten genetically modified stuff, or stuff that was toxic from radiation, and pollution, and pesticides, and poisons. Okay, think about that. We have no choice but to eat to live. And what you eat, you become. It becomes part of your body. It gets transformed, but it still stays in you. Toxins stay in you, vitamins. They could either make or break you. And so, of course we're eating fake facade foods now, genetically modified foods. We're genetically modifying everything. Cosmetic surgery, changing people's sexual orientation or sexual anatomy from male to female. It's not natural, but it's being done. Your food is not natural anymore. Wearing makeup and colognes and perfumes and stuff is not natural. Getting cosmetic surgery and stuff is not natural. So we are no longer looking like the man or woman that God originally created us to be in our mother's womb. We are no longer human. We are no longer natural. And that is Satan's plan. He wants people to be all vain and materialistic and all about sexual pleasure and immorality. So you take on the makeup and the sleazy, sexy clothing, and you get all materialistic, and you drive the sports cars and wear the fancy clothes, and it's money, 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 materialism and vanity. That'll get you to hell real fast, but that's the whole point of it. And you're so busy becoming a new person, somebody who God never intended you to be, someone who's so far from Christ and from being Christ-like that it's not even funny. You're unrecognizable. You no longer are the image and likeness of God, nor are you the man or woman that God wanted you to be when He created you. You don't even look like the person that you were born to be because you're wearing makeup or you're changing your features with plastic surgery and genetically modified stuff. And so, you're no longer in the image and likeness of God, and you're no longer unique. And it's kind of funny because everybody who does this, oh, I want to dye my hair pink or purple, or I want to be unique, I want to be me. You were already unique and one of a kind. Nobody else looks like you. So why do you need to add tattoos and piercings and change your anatomy and change your hair color and change all these things and wear makeup and all this? What are you doing? You're already unique and one of a kind. Nobody else looks like you at all. Nobody else could ever be you as it is. And naturally, you were created beautiful and wonderful by God Himself, one of a kind. So what's this be you thing? You already were yourself. And why change what God made? Why? Because Satan's getting into your head and wants you to no longer look like God. See, every human being was created in the image and likeness of God until they start changing what God created. They change their sex. They go from male to female or female to male. They change their orientation. They change their looks through plastic surgery and clothing and mask and makeup. And then they start genetically altering their children and the DNA, and they start eating genetically modified foods, which changes you. And they take vaccines, which change your genetics. And suddenly, okay, you cover up your natural smell, your natural body odor with pheromones and deodorants and perfumes and colognes, and guess what? You're no longer you. And you no longer look like the person that God wanted you to be and needed you to be. And you no longer think and act like the person that God needed and wanted you to be. And so therefore you're useless to God. You'll go to hell for eternity. And you're also going to have problems socially. Because if you're a fake somebody now, how are you ever going to be a real somebody? How are you going to attract a partner who's real if you yourself are fake? Again, you got to go back and watch this video if you're just tuning in to understand what I'm talking about here. But we are in a society that tells us to be fake in every way. Act fake, think fake, live deceived, live a lie, change your hair color, change your sex, your gender, put makeup on and change the way you look, cover up your odor, your natural pheromones with deodorants and perfumes and colognes. Do everything you can to not be you. But market it as being unique, as being yourself. Oh, this is just me being me. You market this Be You campaign, which in truth, in all reality, is actually making you not be you anymore. It's changing who you were into somebody else, into a fake somebody. So now you go out there and you're trying to find a good, healthy partner to date and marry, and have healthy kids with. And you wonder why 9 out of 10 marriages, if you get married at all properly, end in divorce. And why people cheat on each other. And why they're disappointed. And why they're not sexually attracted to each other. And why men are going with men more than with women. And why women are going more with women than with men, which is the natural order, male and female. God created male and female. But the men are acting more like women, and the women are acting more like men, so it's getting more and more confusing, okay? And so women are more attracted to their own kind because they act like more like men than men do today, and vice versa. The men are acting all feminine and pretty boys, and so the other guys are like, I don't know who to be attracted to anymore, because you're supposed to be a dude and I'm not supposed to be attracted to you, yet you smell so good and you look so good and you're so sexually appealing and you act like a girl and you look, I mean, wow. It's really sick. This is all satanic. This is all the devil's plan from the beginning. He attacked Adam and Eve because they were made in the image and likeness of God and they were one with God. They were in union with God. So he destroyed their relationship first with God by causing them to sin, tempting them and tricking them into sinning. Then he changed mankind. He had mankind try to change their whole image and identity. So they're no longer to be Christians. They're no longer to be made in the image and likeness of God. He's got them believing in being something totally different and trying to change what God did. It's like you take a painting from Monet or, I don't know, some other great artist, okay? And you go and you paint over it to change it. Well, it was already very valuable and perfect the way it was, and then somebody else decided to make alterations. Well, guess what? It's no longer a Monet anymore. It is now garbage. It doesn't look like a Monet. Okay, like that would be like taking Mona Lisa, which everybody thinks is an ugly woman by today's standards. She might have been considered beautiful back then, but today's standards, high foreheads, plain looks, no makeup, homely, fat, plain Jane, that's not attractive. So they think that she's one of the ugliest women ever painted. Okay, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? But somebody probably thinks she's gorgeous. There's somebody out there, okay? We don't know if she's a real woman or a fiction, but if somebody were to repaint her or paint over her and add some makeup and some beauty tips, make her a modernized Mona Lisa, she might look like a gorgeous supermodel. And then everybody would be like, wow, she's so pretty. But she wouldn't be the Mona Lisa anymore that she was. Because you're putting makeup on her, you're changing the painting. You're changing the way she looked, and everything she stood for is now lost. But she might be prettier to look at. Suddenly, everybody wants a Mona Lisa hanging in their house because it's a beautiful painting of a beautiful woman. But the Mona Lisa is not hanging in many people's houses unless you're a historic art collector who sees the value and beauty in it. Because to most people, okay, I don't see what the big deal is. So what? It's a Mona Lisa. Okay, but she's ugly. I wouldn't want that thing hanging in my living room. It's like a homely fat lady just sitting there. I don't need that. But if she looked like a gorgeous supermodel like Pamela Anderson from Baywatch or Jennifer Aniston, you'd be seeing Mona Lisa's hanging just like Marilyn Monroe photos. People love her, or that woman from Breakfast at Tiffany's. You know, they love, or Princess Diana. They love putting those photos in their house. But they don't want a Mona Lisa hanging in there. That you wouldn't put Mona Lisa in a Playboy magazine. You wouldn't put her in the cover of Swimsuit Edition or a fashion mag, or you know, unless you were doing ugly homely model of the year type of thing, you know, cover shoot. But other than that, she ain't gonna be on a beauty mag. So, don't you see what's wrong, society? Don't you see what's wrong with that? I mean, now that I'm 42 years old and I have some wrinkles and saggy skin and dark circles and I'm a little fat and my nose has gotten bigger and my ears have gotten bigger and my face has gone from up here to down here, you know, like everything sags with age, and my hairline has gotten further back and I got gray hair and I'm thinning out, and most people don't find me attractive anymore. But they did when I looked 22. So I'm all done. Have a good night.